Hi, my name's Chris Scavilio from sportsrehab.com.au. Today I'm going to show you a short little video on how to use BFR cuffs to decrease tendon and joint pain in the knees. There's a lot of evidence out there at the moment about the role of blood flow restriction being able to attenuate joint and tendon pain. I've also had a lot of feedback from clients who currently use BFR that this same effect happens for them with up to 24 hours of pain relief. Personally myself, a few years ago, I had an operation on my right knee and I actually still get a little bit of pain in my knee depending on what level of activity I've done. So for today, I've actually used two different colored cuffs to illustrate which is my good knee, which is the blue, and my bad knee, which is on my right. And I actually use this routine in the morning upon waking, and I actually find this is a great way to decrease any joint pain, but actually get a little bit of movement not only in my knee joint, but throughout my whole body. I've actually extended this video to two different stages. The first one is those who potentially could have quite severe joint pain, and that one will be done in sitting. And the other one is more low to moderate type pain, which is myself, and that will be done in standing. So the first stage in sitting, this is really simple, and as with all these exercises, it's actually quite simple, but I actually find the sequence with the addition of BFR to be the key in this type of small exercise program. So the first one in sitting is just a leg extension. And from this point here, we're just going to just extend the knee out. Just a normal, typical leg extension. And this could be done on a kitchen chair. 3 sets of 15 is a typical rep and set range here, which would work quite well. And what you can do over time is to increase the complexity of it, is just slow down the range of movement. So have a 3-second count on the way up and on the way down. And then the next stage of progression is at the top is actually to add an isometric hold for 3 seconds. And when you're doing this here, really focus on that VMO muscle, of the main muscle of the quadricep that you really want to target, which is going to help decrease that joint pain. Part 2 is in a standing type position, and this is what I would typically do. And this consists of 4 different exercises. And with this type of protocol, I'm going to do 3 sets and use incremental pressure. Now, remembering I'm doing this first thing in the morning, I've woken up, I'm a little bit stiff. And so I also find my typical training pressure, which is 50% of arterial occlusion, which for myself is 180 mils of mercury. I'll actually use an incremental pressure of 120, 140, then 160. So I'll never go up to 180 because I still find I'm actually being able to get an analgesic effect from this type of exercise. So 4 exercises here. The first one is a squat. So a double leg. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work the range of movement that I'm comfortable with. And that's the beautiful thing here about blood flow restriction. You don't have to use huge range of movements. However, what I am trying to do is when I'm coming up, I'm thinking about trying to get a co-contraction between my VMO and my glutes. I'm spreading the floor slightly, making sure my knees travel in line with my toes or my second toe. And I'm just really thinking about squeezing those VMOs as I'm coming out of the movement. And I'll aim for a set of 10. From that, my second movement is a lateral lunge or a lateral lunge squat. And I'm just going to move gently to one side, trying to get alignment of hip, knee, toe. So adding a straight movement into now a lateral movement. And once again, similar to the squats, as each rep continues, I'm able to try and work on more range of movement according to how I feel. Because I know in my second set, I'm actually going to be able to achieve more range and I'll have more muscle activation. The third movement is just step up. And this I find is really useful for just a good muscle motor pattern as well. What I also find, because my right knee is stiff, is that I'm not able to get that same range of movement as my heel will want to come up in a forward type movement. So this would affect my running technique. So now I'm on to my leg, which is my worst knee. And as I'm stepping back, I'm working more range, thinking about bringing my heel up to underneath my butt as I'm coming through. And then the fourth movement is a Cossack squat, and this is perhaps the more complex movement and something that may need consideration as to whether you introduce this initially or bring this in over time. So what we're doing is we're using the outside leg and coming across and squatting down, and then coming back to the middle and stepping over again. Now in these movements, as you notice, my knees will be going forward over my toes, which traditionally we would teach not to do in an S&C type situation. However, in real life, these are the type of movements that we do. And as we get older, these are the movements that we stop doing. And the freedom through our different joints that's what we actually start to lose. Now, once I've finished my first set, I'd release the pressure, give myself 60 seconds rest. I would then reinflate the cuffs up to another 20 mils of mercury, repeat that, do that for a total of 3 sets. And once I've done, release the pressure. And from that point, I'll actually find that I've actually got really nice activation in my quads. My joints feel really good. The pains decrease and I'm ready to go on for my day. I hope that's been really useful for you. If you have any more questions, please visit my website. This has been Chris from sportsrehab.com.au. Thanks for watching.